Hey friends, so I have another video. It's pretty late where I'm at. I wanted to do this video because it's fresh in my mind, and this is actually, I'm kind of, it's funny because this video is going to sound like I'm ranting and it's going to sound like it's a blog. But I want to be very transparent and with you guys. That way, you know what's going on in the realness of Christianity, the realness of what people experience. And a couple of things have happened today that it just got me to the point of enough. Enough is enough. And friends, I cannot tell you how long this video is going to be, so I encourage you to get a drink and join me, because this might be one video that you don't want to miss. Honestly, I'm not really prepared. All I know is that I wanted to call this video "The Pain is Real," because I know that, Christians have adopted this feeling of when you're going through something, basically suck it up. God is your refuge. God is your fortress. And it doesn't allow you to be real with yourself. It doesn't allow you to have any type of emotions. And if you have been watching my videos, there's a video that I made, and I think it's called "He Can Use Anything to Speak to You." And one of those, in that video, I talk about the daughter in the movie Elemental. She is being suppressed because she's going through some stuff, but she had to hold it together because her father was not allowing that side of her to come out. And it was making her more and more angry. And I can totally relate to that, because for the longest time, I always thought that I couldn't be real. Growing up in church, nobody ever said that the stuff that we go through as Christians, we put so many laws on ourselves and we try to abide by them. And when we can't, we try harder the next time. And then we can't, and we try harder again the next time. And we just keep on failing. And I really encourage the whoever's watching to go see the movie Elemental, and definitely check out the video that I made, because it really, really gives grace to the person that is going through something over and over again, and you're trying so hard to get rid of your emotions because you think a Christian shouldn't be expressing herself that way or even feeling that way. Man, that movie really changed a lot of my view. So I'm sorry that this video is going to sound like a vlog, or it's going to sound like I'm not really teaching, but I am teaching. If you read between the lines, today was a hard day, especially tonight. For the past 7 years, like I said, I've been going through a journey of learning how to forgive myself for, it could be the smallest things to the biggest things. And the smallest things have been, that I have noticed, is my reaction towards myself, in the way that I react towards others and towards myself. And it's been suppressed so much that if there would be any kind of ounce of anger inside of me, or jealousy, or any kind of hurt or bitterness, I was automatically told by who was teaching, or just by preachers, that it was bad, that you need to forgive, you need to stop being bitter because it hurts you. And even though that may be true, the one thing that they forgot to tell me was that if you're not receiving that forgiveness and that love and that unconditional love for yourself on a daily basis, then how in the world are you supposed to forgive or love anyone? So what I would do would be I would feel so bad because I was feeling that. So tonight, I've been learning to accept that this is where I'm at. Like, let's cut the BS. Has anyone ever been hurt by somebody that you absolutely love? Can I just tell you it's okay that you're there? Can I just tell you that the Father is right there with you, like He's here with me right now? It's so beautiful when you acknowledge that the Father who loves you at your worst is right here with you. It's so beautiful. It makes me feel all warm inside to know that He's right there with you. My father told me in this journey that I was going to go through some stuff, but he made me some promises for my marriage, for my children's lives, and for my life. And to this very day, it's been really hard to hold on to those promises, because in the natural, it looks completely opposite. He told me that he was going to restore my marriage. And it doesn't look, on the outside, it doesn't look like that's happening. I wanted to believe with all of my heart the promises the Father has given me, because I've been told you shouldn't doubt God. You should not. If He tells you, He's going to do it. You see, that may sound good, and that may sound good in a preaching, in a sermon, but my Bible says when you are faithless, He's faithful. I always thought that whenever He gave you a promise, that promise was, if I use this word correctly, contended upon your belief system, if you believed or not. And can I just say that it's not? It's a lot of weight that you put on yourself. It's a lot of weight that I put on myself. Until someone, a very special friend of mine, my best friend, pointed that out to me and told me the promises that the Father is giving you is not contended upon what you bring to the table, whether you believe or not. It is His job to get you there. It is His job to make it happen. It is His job. And He wants it that way. And then she knows very well that whenever she speaks something into my life, I always have to back it up with a word. I always have to be like, okay, she's hearing this, but show me, Father, in the word where that is even true. And I remember that night, He reminded me of Abraham. It reminded me that he told Abraham, I'm going to make you a father. You are a father of many nations. Well, that's impossible because Abraham didn't even have one son, and his wife couldn't even bear children. So how's that even possible? Something so dead in his life, and the father is now saying, Abraham, I have chosen you to be the father of many nations. Can you imagine what Abraham would felt like? Can you imagine what he thought? Like, oh my gosh, yeah, right. The Bible even recalls like him telling him, you mean Ishmael, you mean this person. And the father had to remind him, no, this will come from your own body. Did you know from the time that he gave him that promise all the way up to the promise actually happening was 16 years? That's a long time, friends. That's a long, long time. A long, long time. And I didn't realize it. It dawned on me whenever she told me that it wasn't up to Abraham to believe, to conjure up this belief system in him in order to make Isaac, which is his son from Sarah, to come to pass. Sarah was barren. Sarah was about 90 years old, I think. I think it was 99. And he was about 100 by the time the promise actually came. It wasn't him to make it happen. It was up to the one who gave the promise that made it happen. And I'm pretty sure throughout that time, Abraham was not believing the Father. And the reason why I know that is because Sarah was getting so tired of something that was spoken by God, his own wife, and told him, go ahead, maybe God meant it this way. Maybe he needs your help, Abraham. Maybe you misunderstood what he was saying, Abraham. Here, let's help him out. Let's help God out. I want you to sleep with my handmaid, her servant, which was Hagar. And the Bible declares that he went into Hagar and she bore a son. But that's not what the Father meant at all. That's not what God meant at all. And in the next scenes, in the chapters, it talks about God coming to Abraham and him reminding Abraham, come outside, Abraham. Let me show you the stars. Can you count the stars, Abraham? Because that's how many descendants, how many are going to come from your line. I'm making you a father of many nations. Instead of getting mad at Abraham because he couldn't believe in such a great, huge promise and making him feel bad for not believing and for actually going past what he said and taking it into his own hands, he ends up reminding him again and telling him, it is I, Abraham. I have made you a father of many nations. That means that if I made you that promise, it's my job to make it come to pass, not yours. The Father has numerous times reminded me of what he's going to do. And every time that I doubt him, I always tell myself, it's okay that you can't believe for something that huge, that you can't believe that the Father is actually going to restore your marriage. It's okay that you're doubting this ministry ever going anywhere. I have to get real with myself in order to be real with the Father, because He's not asking us to be robots and suck up those emotions. He never asked us to suck it up. If the Father knows you so well, then why not be honest with yourself and saying, I just can't believe that you would have somebody special for me. I just can't believe. That's great, God. I'm glad that you're saying that, but you know what? That's too far-fetched. Everything on the outside is saying something different, and it is nowhere near what you're saying. But then you have a beautiful Father that says, let me just remind you again. It is not by your power to try to conjure up this belief system inside of you. It's not by might nor by power, but my Spirit that is going to make this happen. This has nothing to do with you, Abraham. I'm just telling you to remind you that I am your Father and I'm going to take care of you. I'm the one who loves you. If I have given you this promise, the card, the bill is on me. And it brings me so much happiness to know that the bill's on him. That if he wants this ministry to take off, it's on him. If he wants my marriage to be restored at 120%, it's on him. It's his job to make it happen. And my eyes are on him, not on me trying to make it happen. Another thing that came to my mind was this, and I told this to my friend, was there's nothing that I do or don't do that can add or subtract from this promise, from this vision that the Father has given me. I can't make myself believe in something so big. I can't, because I'm in so much pain. So much pain of what I'm seeing on the outside. It's so hard to believe in something that you can't physically see in the natural eye. It's so hard. So when I started to see the story of Abraham and how he told him, I have made you a father of many nations. And if I made you that promise, it is up to me. When I started seeing that for myself in the scriptures, that it was his job to make Sarah youthful again and to restore her youth so much that she could bear a child. It was his job to make and transform Paul. It was his job to bring about the promises of Joseph in Joseph's life. Joseph, if you haven't read the book of Joseph, or not the book of Joseph, but it's in Genesis, it talks about Joseph, how he was one of the brothers. It was the youngest and he was the weakest. He was second to the youngest, but he was also the weakest. He was given a promise that that his brothers would bow down to him one day. Yeah, that was so far-fetched. So far-fetched. And come to find out, his life took such a journey that you would think, man, this guy really did miss it. He really did miss it. He was thrown in a pit. He was captured by people that wanted to sell him off, and he had no clothes on. He had no skill, nothing. The only thing that Joseph had was a promise that God had given him and God on his side. So believe me, friends, if you think that you can add on, if you think that you can have this great, you need this great faith, you need to believe in the promises of God, can I tell you and can I take the weight off of you that it's not up to you believing? It's the Father's job to make it happen, not yours. The way that we accept, our part is to say, if you want it to happen, if this is what you have called me. It's like Abraham saying, if you have called me to be the father of many people, of nations, not just one tribe, we are all descendants of Abraham, mind you, okay? Did God keep his promise? Yes. Was it up to Abraham? No. All Abraham did was say, yes, I'll keep my eyes on you. But there were times where his eyes came off of the Father and he took matters into his own hands. But look how the Father did not condemn him for it. He just simply reminded him again, Abraham, let me show you something and let me remind you who's going to bring it to pass. When the Father has put promises in your life, whether it's a restoration in your marriage, whether it's a restoration in your body, whether it's a restoration with a family member or children coming back home, if he has said it, he shall surely bring it to pass, and it will be by him doing it, not because you have great faith. When you think that it's your faith that is going to move the mountain, what happens when you don't have great faith in a certain moment? You begin to feel guilty for it. And I don't believe for one moment the Father put that verse, when you are faithless, I am faithful, for no reason. Because he knew that his children were going to doubt him. Come on, if you are a parent, if you remember in your youth, did you always believe your parent and everything he said, everything they said? Did you always believe? At a teenager, at 18, 19, 20, 25, if they said something, did you automatically believe and not doubt whatsoever? Or were there days where you saw, man, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. And if we're all honest with ourselves, there are times where you will doubt the promises the Father is giving you. But I want to get that weight off of you and tell you it's okay that you're there. And it is not up to you to make it happen. Tonight, like I said, my Father has given me the promise of a restoration in my marriage. And tonight it showed completely the opposite. I felt so much pain that it's made this video, but I wanted to come on video to make it so raw and so transparent and give people hope. Is that not what my channel is? A living hope because hope is alive inside of us. And I'm drawing it out of you and drawing it out of me because I'm putting the weight on my Father and not on myself anymore. And telling myself it's okay that you feel this way. Yes, you are in pain, Stacy. Yes, your emotions are there. But your Father is not making you feel guilty because they're there. The verse that comes to my mind right now, it says, it's Psalm 46, and it says, come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. He makes war cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. In any part of that, did you hear? You have to believe it. Or was it all the Father saying, come and behold my works, not yours? Come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. Did you see the key word? He has brought. And then it says, he makes wars cease. Does it say anywhere in there that you make your war cease? Man, I wish I would have known this. It's okay. It's fine. It's all right because I know it now. And now I'm spreading the message out, spreading this great news out to somebody who has a lot of weight on their shoulders to try to believe something when the opposite is showing. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. Is it you breaking the bow, or is it your Father who gave you the promise? He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know that I'm God. I think we're taking that verse, be still, and putting that weight on ourselves, just thinking that, okay, I'm going to be still. And we automatically think that means I'm going to suppress all these emotions that are going through me because that's what it means, be still. And right now, I'm going to tell you that that's not what that means. Be still means I'm not trying to get you to be a robot here. I understand what you're going through. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to kick the door because you're so angry, kick the door. If you want to scream into that pillow, scream into that pillow. I know what you're going through. But I want you to see me loving you right now where you're at. I want you to see me holding you in my arms and knowing that I love you enough to bring it to pass. It is my job to make this happen for you. And that brings me so much happiness because the nonsense that I saw today that's showing me the complete opposite, I'm having to run back into my Father's arms and cry and tell him it hurts, Daddy. It hurts so much, and I'm so angry because I want this to end so bad. I want this journey to end, and I want to see all your promises that you have made in my life come to pass. And just cry in his arms as he holds me and tells me everything's going to be okay. I'm right beside you, and I'm loving you back to life. See my love in the midst of your pain. Don't try to make yourself believe this. It is my job to make it come to pass. You see yourself being wrapped in my arms right now. I read this post from a well-known lady here in my town. And she mentioned that she had been hurt numerous of times by men, and they did her very wrong. And she was in a lot of pain because of what they did to her. And she heard this message from pastor and told her that to be obedient is to be still. She put a post on there. Being still is part of being obedient. Friends, can I just mention right now that the word obedience is not in the form that you think it is. It's like saying a little girl. My best friend has a little girl. She's 4 years old. She gets herself into messes all the time. And I've never heard her say to her little girl, "Get it together. Stop your whining. Stop your crying. Behave. Stop. Stop what you're feeling right now." That little girl is picked up and raised in her mommy's arms. And she's loved. And her mom gently pats her back and says, "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. It's okay." And that little girl cries in her mommy's arms. And that's how I picture my Father. That's your Father. See him picking you up. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how many degrees you have. See him picking you up right now and saying, "It's okay. It's okay that you're there. Everything's going to be okay because Daddy has you. Daddy's taking care of it all. Daddy loves you." That woman, that poor woman, man, when I read that post, I wanted to comment so bad and tell her, has anybody ever told you it's okay that you're feeling that? The Father's not asking you to be still in the way of having no emotions. That's not what he's saying. That verse is all about him doing for you, not you trying to make yourself believe it. It's all about him doing for you. That's what I love about the New Testament. In the Old Testament, it was all about a demand from man that was completely weak. But in the New Testament, in the New Covenant, it is all about the Father doing for you and for me. The pain is real, friends. And I'm here, like I said, to take that weight off of you, of trying to get you to say, "Get it together. Get your emotions intact. Stop feeling that way because you should know. You should know better. What, are you doubting me?" That's not our Father at all. He was so close to the people, so loving that the sinners, the ones who couldn't earn it nor produce anything, any good, could not produce anything good, they drew near to somebody who was just loving them, just loved to be in their presence. He came down and he died for people that could not earn it. You see, when you're trying to conjure up your own faith, when you're trying to be like, "Okay, I'm going to believe and I'm never going to doubt," my friends, you are literally setting yourself up for failure like I did. And then you start to feel guilty because you doubted the promise that God is giving you. And you're back on the vicious cycle of guilt. when the Father became that guilt offering for you. He became the guilty one so you could walk away as the righteous one, the one that is in right standing with the Father 24/7. That's what righteousness means. It means you'll never be on his bad side. You're constantly being approved and washed with his acceptance and his forgiveness. So tonight, I had to be reminded again, it's okay you're there. It's okay that you don't have it all together. It's okay that you're feeling these feelings of jealousy. I know many Christians could be hearing this and like, no, it's wrong. You shouldn't be bitter. But do you see the weight that you put on yourself when that happens? Because what's going to happen when you are so angry and you're feeling all these emotions, and then you tell yourself, no, a Christian shouldn't be feeling that way. Because you heard a pastor, a teacher tell you that, and that's not what the word means. We're talking about a Father who never asked us to be fake with ourselves. If he wanted a perfect creation, then why did he die when we were at our worst? Why did he die when we had it all together? Because ding, 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 we did not have it all together. And we're lying to ourselves if we think that we do have it all together, that we can control our emotions because we're Christians. That is not true at all. You are not a robot. You have emotions, especially us girls. We go through emotions. And sometimes we're a basket case. But see your daddy picking you up and say, it's okay. My best friend, her husband, freaking loves his little girl. Loves her. And I've never seen him say, Trinity, get it together. If anything, he shows her so much love that she has her daddy wrapped around her little finger. He loves his little girl, and anyone that misses with his little girl is on daddy's bad side. You better believe it that he's coming after you. It just became personal. Can you imagine that little girl, Trinity? Her name is Trinity. Can you imagine Trinity feeling the feeling of, okay, get it together. She's 4 years old. Get it together. Okay, stop crying. Okay, stop crying. Oh, but I really want to cry. No, stop crying. No, I have to not cry. I can't show my emotions. Can you imagine a 4-year-old trying to hold it together? Not even thinking, child of God, that you are a child in your Father's sight. We forget that just because our age is gone up in advance, we automatically think that we're grown in his eyes. No, we are children in his eyes. No wonder when he came back, he referred to them, children, do you have anything to eat? They had been toiling all night looking for food. And what a wonderful response he gives to them. A wonderful statement of children. He didn't say, hey guys. No, he said children. We are children in his eyes. And he's like, if anything, better than my best friend's husband. He's picking us up and saying it's okay. Cry. in my arms. You see, when we're not honest with ourselves, we automatically think we're not honest with ourselves. It's like we're thinking that it's a bad thing to feel this way, and so we need to just get it together. Like I said, this woman now is going to go in her life and say, okay, to be still, I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to be still because that's what God is telling me to do, and that's how he's going to fix this. That's how he's going to fix this pain, by being still. Do you know what she's saying to herself when she believes that? She's saying she's not going to have any kind of emotions at all. She's going to hold herself together. She's going to keep it together. She's going to suppress all of those emotions. And guess what? If you've seen the movie Elemental, she tried doing that. And guess what? She had to go into the basement and blow a fuse because she couldn't hold it together. She couldn't. And tonight, friends, I came to that realization again. I can't hold it together. Am I feeling this jealousy inside of me? Yeah. It's completely the opposite of what I was being told by the Father. But instead of me saying, no, I'm going to keep it together because, Stacy, you shouldn't be doubting God's promises. No, I came to the Father and said, I cannot stop what I'm feeling right now. I'm a mess. And I can't hold these feelings of jealousy and anger and rage inside of me. And right there and then, I forgave myself for feeling that way and realized the Father was not making me feel guilty for having that or kicking and screaming. You see, pastors and teachers and whoever is speaking into your life, it's so important to actually go through a restoration process. Being a child first. If anything, I have so much to say on that. We're teaching the congregation to hold it together, the church body to hold it together. Whatever happened to teaching the body, the church, that the Father loves them, no matter if they're a mess? You can't control every tear that comes down your eyes, especially when you're in pain. And you know you can't make yourself feel better in that second. Because I guarantee you, friends, given the right circumstance, you're going to run into that situation and your emotions are going to run wild. And if you're hearing teaching that says, get it together, then you're going to try and you're going to fail. And then you're going to blame yourself for not trying harder. So you're going to try harder and you're going to fail again. And then you're going to try harder and you're going to fail again. But what if the remedy is not by trying? What if the remedy is actually forgiving yourself in the midst of that emotion and saying, my Father is holding nothing against me. He's holding nothing against me. Therefore, I'm not going to hold anything against myself either. I'm going to allow myself to cry. I'm going to allow myself to be angry. because I can't. And I'm going to allow him to be father to me right now, right where I'm at. And I'm going to be comforted in his love again and again and again. And what you're dealing with and what I'm dealing with is going to break, because you're no longer trying to suppress your emotions. You're just literally saying, I can't, but you can. So I'm going to allow myself to be where I'm at right now. And I'm going to allow you now to be father to me and love me where I'm at. Remember, friends, be still is not you suppressing what you cannot hold together. Be still means watch me work. Watch me work on your behalf. I don't need your help in the way of you trying to hold it together. I don't need your help by you saying, okay, God needs me to believe. If he has spoken something into your life, like he has spoken into my life, then he's going to get the job done, not me. It's not by me trying to clean up my act, nor hold my emotions together, or doing everything right, because a Christian shouldn't be doing that or doing this, and so many laws that we put on ourselves. We just simply relax and saying, I mean, picture yourself, like I'm swaying back and forth, but picture yourself just relaxing and saying, you said it. And you're going to protect my marriage. It's up to you to make it happen, because I'm going through so much right now. I even had one testimony, one lady that said she was without any money whatsoever. She had no money to her name. I guess she must have maxed out her credit cards. I don't know the situation, but she related to me that she had nothing and her rent was due. It was coming up due. And she was at the end of herself in that area. And she says that she just said, I need your help. I can't. Basically, I can't provide for myself. And he showed her, instead of getting mad at her for where she was at, she said to us the very next day, the money came in. It was either the next day or the next week, money was provided for her. And it makes you think that maybe the word letting go means you stop trying to help Father in the way of thinking you're taking away from what he has spoken, and you're trying to perfect yourself to be able to believe for something. Maybe it's all about, I can't, so I need you to come through. I can't heal myself. I can't make this work. It's a beautiful feeling, friends, when you know that you can't do something. It's a very beautiful feeling when you know you can't. There's so much weight that comes off your shoulders, and you lay yourself there and saying, God, if you said you were going to restore my marriage, then you're going to protect my husband from any kind anything that's going to hurt that promise you gave me. You're going to protect this ministry. You're going to protect my children when I'm not there. I have seen him come through for me in my health when I simply stopped feeling fearful that he was going to punish me because I was going through fear one more time. I have seen him come through over and over and over again, not by me trying to feel brave. It was when I felt fearful of losing my life. I just think about that. God, so amazing. I struggled so much with fear. Fear of dying. And I would suddenly just feel so bad because Blake would tell me, stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. You're grown, Stacy. Stop being afraid. God did not give you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. He would quote that word automatically, and I would automatically think that my father was making me feel guilty because I could not believe that. I could not get myself to not be afraid. It's like the more they told me, the more I would feel guilty because I couldn't stop being afraid. When people put so many laws on you, you want to abide by them, but you find yourself in a predicament where you can't, and then you start feeling guilty because you can't. And that's what Blake did to me. I'm not trying to dog him, but I'm stating facts of what happens when you try to tell a person or give a person a law, and that person wants to stop fearing but cannot. So over and over again, I would see my father deliver me from whatever experience I was going through, despite my fear. And not once. I was reading the scriptures and thinking, where is he condemning the people for being afraid? Where is he telling the people in such a tactful voice, stop being afraid? Or was he touching their shoulder and saying, don't be afraid, like he did to Peter in the Mountain of Transfiguration? That's what I'm saying, friends. We're not robots here. We feel. God is, if we have emotions, it's because God has emotions. If we're all over the place, don't you think that he knows all that? He knows that we don't have it all together all the time. He knows what ticks us off. He knows. But again, he doesn't identify us on what's coming out. He identifies us in, you are my son, and I can only think good thoughts about you. You do no wrong in my eyes. You're never on my bad side. You're always on my good side. Heck, you're on my right side, which is anytime you hear in the Bible where it says the right side, it means my right hand. It means my hand of favor. You are at my right hand, daughter. To think bad about you is to be thinking bad about my son, because you, again, are in my son. So every time that we feel guilty for an emotion that's happening within us, can I just say this, bluntly say this, you are not seeing yourself in Christ. We talk about in Christ a lot, but no one's actually talking about what that truly means. That if we are in Christ, that means that the Father is identifying us in the person. To make us feel guilty is to make Christ guilty again. And the Father is not going to do that. Oh man, that's a whole different message again. I can be here for hours talking because Lord knows I can go on. So friends, what's the message that I want to put out to you and to myself right now? That he loves me. And that he loves you. And you're going to be okay. Because that love is fighting for you. You're going to be okay. Because that love wants these promises more than you do. No, that's hard to believe. But if he gave you that promise, it's because he has truly great plans for you, and it's up to him to make it to happen. So I see a parent excited to give you what you can't earn. Friends, think about that. I'm sorry. Let me just say that. If I try to hold my emotions back, did you know that I could get credit for believing? All I got to say is I had great faith. I had great faith. So that's why these promises came to pass. Did you know that the Bible strictly states, I will share my glory with no one? You see, this is not your glory, half your glory, half his glory. This is all his glory. If pastor said, if he wants all the glory, then let him do all the work. Man, that ministers to me right now. That means it's his job to get it done, not by me trying to hold it together. I was so mad when I read that post. My gosh, so mad, because I was like, wow, that poor girl now is going to try. She's going to try to hold it together. She's going to try her hardest, and she's going to fail. Because I've done it numerous of times, and I've seen numerous of people do it, because we were not meant to hold it together. We were meant to get in his arms, curl up in his arms, and say, Father, I can't. But I know you love me. And I know your love is going to make this happen, not mine. That's why, friends, it's not about your love for the Father that is going to make your promises come true. The promises that he gave you, it's not your love for the Father will not bring those promises to come to pass. It has to, the weight has to be on him. No wonder he says, take up my yoke, for it is easy. It is not easy when you try to believe for something that is so the opposite on the outside. It's hard. So the only way for it to be easy is if we put the weight on him. The Bible says Abraham grew. He grew. What does that word mean? Grow. That means that he didn't have it together when he first was told, given a promise. He grew in the faith. The faith for what? The faith in his love towards Abraham. He grew in faith. Abraham, it's like 16 years of him seeing that, wow, this really has nothing to do with me. This is a promise given to a son from a father with love, and the Father making it happen. He had to grow in that. We automatically take that scripture and say, I have to have the faith. And friends, that's putting the weight back on you again. Have you ever been told it's not about you, it's about him? That's what that means. It means that he does all the work. It's not about you doing it, it's about him doing it. That's why when you hear that people saying it's not about you, that means he didn't make you in right standing with the Father based off of you. He made you in right standing with the Father based off of him. It's all about him, what he did for you. It's not about what you do for yourself. Okay? Grace, my friends, is unearned. If you try to hold it together, you're trying to earn what the Father wants to give to you so freely. You can't earn this. You cannot earn the rewards that he gives you. I've had to learn that the hard way, and I'm still that default setting in my brain of I gotta help the Father. He reminds me over and over again, daughter, relax in my arms and watch me go to work. I know that I'm being very transparent right now, but like I said in the beginning of the video, I want them to see Christians, a new side of a Christian, and that side being it's okay. It's okay to be feeling that. See him loving you right now and not making you feel guilty because you're there one more time. If you have a drinking habit that you just don't feel good about because it's hurting you and your family or it's hurting your pocketbook, but you want to stop, may I encourage you, friends? May I encourage you to stop restraining yourself from drinking and to receive the Father's love for you right now. Forgive yourself, first of all, because the Father has already forgiven you. He understands that you can't produce this desire in you. So the way out is not by trying to restrain yourself from it. The way out is to receive his forgiveness for yourself and let him go to work. Let him bring out life, that fruit, that new desire birthing from within you, where you won't even have a taste for it anymore. It could be anything. It can be pornography. It could be drugs. Friends, I know this is a whole different message that people are thinking like, oh my gosh, this girl is like giving wrong advice to people. But you know what? I've heard numerous of testimonies of people trying to restrain themselves and they got nowhere. And they stopped restraining themselves and they got somewhere. That addiction was broken off of their lives because they stopped trying and they allowed the Father to be Father to them. It's okay where you're at, friends. It's okay where you're at. See him loving you through it and forgive yourself for being there again. That's okay. And if it happens again, then forgive yourself again because the Father has already forgiven you. You see, the Father doesn't forgive you when it happens. the Father, you are under a waterfall. It is constantly washing over you. You are under a wash cycle of his forgiveness. You are never dirty in his sight. It's you who sees yourself dirty. So by you saying, I forgive myself because I can't stop this addiction. I know it's hurting my family. I know it's hurting me, but I can't stop. But I receive your forgiveness right now. And then one day it's just going to happen to where you don't even desire it anymore. Remember, friends, self-control is a fruit. And fruit does not come out by you trying to make it come out. So I hope that you receive this, whoever you are. That if the pain is there, it's okay. It's okay that it's there. You can't help that. You can't help the way that you feel. But can I encourage you to close your eyes right now and receive his love and his forgiveness again for yourself right now? Heck, I'll even do it with you right now. Father, thank you that you love us. Thank you that you love me, even in this place that I'm in right now. Thank you that you're not making me feel like a robot that I have to suppress my emotions. I receive your forgiveness, your constant acceptance over my life and what I'm feeling right now, even if there is anger and jealousy and bitterness there. You know where I stand, but I also know where you stand. And that's a Father who is not disproving me, but approving me to be me and loving me every step of the way. I can't earn your favor. I can't earn this grace, but I receive it right now for my life. I receive it. And I thank you that every promise that you have given me, you're going to make it happen. You're going to bring it to pass because you are faithful to me, even when I'm so faithless. Thank you for loving me, Father. Thank you for loving me. In Jesus' name, amen. Friends, I love you. Until the next video, we'll see you soon. Bye.